So in this video, I'm first going to break down the problem that Manchester United have when playing with Fred in central midfield. I'm then going to analyse the type of player I actually think he is and how to use him correctly, and then I'll be discussing why I think he's a similar type of player to Ji-Sung Park. But before I get into that, for cheap good quality football jerseys, retro jerseys and tracksuits, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com, a link will be left in the description, and use code Atlantis football for 5% off. So this video is going to be a part of my series looking at how to fix Manchester United. I've already released videos analysing Antonio Conte at Manchester United, how to fix Manchester United's attacking problems, and I will also be doing videos on other managers and how they would fit in at Manchester United, and how to solve Manchester United's defensive central midfield problem as well. So make sure you click the bell and subscribe so you get notified when those videos come out. So Manchester United have three main problems with playing Fred in central midfield. The first is that when United try and play out from the back against an aggressive press, Fred isn't press resistant enough to withstand the pressure and often ends up losing the ball in his own defensive third. An example was against Leicester last year in the FA Cup. United are trying to build out from the back and Maguire plays the ball into Fred and he immediately comes under pressure from Tielemans. Now an elite player in central midfield here would either play a first time pass straight out to the fullbacks. You can see he's got Telles on his left and Wan-Bissaka on his right, but even if they did take a touch, the touch would have to be spot on to allow them to pass it instantly. Now in this position, Fred has to take a maximum of 2 touches because there's 3 Leicester players surrounding him and he's right on the edge of his own box, and any mistake is going to lead to a Leicester chance, which is exactly what happens. Fred's first touch is poor, it bubbles up in the air and his pass back to the keeper is short. It gets intercepted by Iheanacho, he goes round the keeper and puts it into the net, and this really is a nothing goal that Manchester United have conceded, all from their own mistake rather than from Leicester having to break them down. And this is the problem with Fred. He's far too clumsy on the ball. When he receives the ball, he takes at least 2 touches just to get the ball under control, and he's often erratic with his passing. He often picks the wrong pass to play, playing a pass out wide rather than forward, and he seems to not have the awareness or composure that a deep lying central midfielder has to have to be able to receive the ball, look up and find the best pass. Instead he goes for the easy option far too often, and his lack of decisiveness and sharpness seems to invite pressure, making him a target for the opposition's pressure. A good example of what to do if you're a central midfielder dropping deep to help your side during the build-up phase is what Ryan Gravenberch does here for Ajax as he drops deep and receives the ball off the goalkeeper. You can see he's approaching the play side on. This means that he's not going to get caught with his back to goal, unable to see the player coming from behind him. When the ball comes into him, he allows the ball to roll across his body with a feint that catches the opposition presser off guard, and then with one touch he's able to glide forward past the player, breaking the line of the opposition press. And you can now see that because of this, Ajax have now completely played out of their defensive third, moving into the middle third and even the opposition's half. If you think about Fred in this sort of position compared to someone like Gravenberch, you can see the massive difference a press-resistant central midfielder would make to Manchester United, enabling them to simply play out of an opposition press within a few seconds. And what this does is it opens up the rest of the field, and this will give more space to the likes of Fernandes and Pogba, because at the minute United don't play out of the opposition's press quickly enough, and this allows the opposition side to drop behind the ball into a deep, compact, vertically compact defensive unit, and this closes up the space between the lines, meaning there's less space for the likes of Fernandes and Pogba to receive the ball in. But Fred's other problem is a defensive one, and it's that he's not a very good ball winner. More specifically, he's not a good one-on-one defender, which is problematic when he comes up against a quick attacker in the centre of the field where there's massive amounts of space for them just to knock the ball past Fred and run at the United back line. These situations usually come about when United lose the ball in the opposition's half and they attempt to counter quickly through the centre of the pitch. A good example is here against Adama Traore and Wolves. Fred gives the ball away to Adama Traore on the edge of the Wolves box, and instead of moving slowly to jockey Traore and hold up the play, he approaches far too fast and far too flat-footed, making it easy for Traore to not just knock the ball past him, but knock the ball past Pogba as well, and now he's running at the United back line through the centre of the field. Another example was a few games later against Everton. The ball gets knocked out and Damari Gray is racing to the ball with Fred. Fred loses the 50-50 challenge, which an elite ball winning central midfielder like Ndidi or Kante would win in that position. Instead the ball is out wide and he once again loses the 50-50, this time with the upper body strength, getting out muscled and allowing Damari Gray to then feed Decore, and now Everton have a 3-on-3 opportunity near Manchester United's box, and this all comes from Fred not being able to win the 50-50 challenges in the centre of the field. The third point sort of ties into both of these points, as Fred doesn't have the creativity to make up for his weaknesses. Someone like Toni Kroos is not a ball winner and would be a liability if he was expected to play the role of a ball winner in central midfield. The same could also be said for Pogba in Manchester United's midfield, but the difference between Pogba and Kroos and Fred is that Fred can't make up for his weaknesses with his creative output. Yes, he's a decent passer of the ball, he circulates the ball alright, but he's not elite like Pogba or Kroos at playing long passes, creating chances, or playing incisive passes between the lines to progress the play. Therefore, there's not really much benefit to having Fred in central midfield, particularly in a deep double pivot, where you're expected to either be press resistant to help during the build-up, be a good progressor of the ball via your long passing or incisive passes between the lines, or at least be a ball carrier who can dribble the ball through the centre of the pitch. Fred is neither of these, and he's not a ball winner either, so what exactly is Fred as a central midfielder then? Well, I would describe Fred as a utility player in a specific tactical system. A utility player is essentially just a player that performs a certain role against a certain opposition or a certain side that have a certain attacking threat or defensive weakness. When it comes to utility midfielders, these players aren't often the best creative or technical players, but they do a certain job largely based around their work rate and defensive capabilities. Players that may come to mind are players like Javier Zanetti or James Milner, but another player who did used to play for Manchester United is Ji-Sung Park, and he was a crucial part of United's success from 2006 to 2009, performing an essential role in that side. A good example was in the 2009-2010 season, when United were playing AC Milan in the knockout stages of the Champions League, and Ferguson instructed Ji-Sung Park to position himself in an advanced midfield position ahead of the midfield line, picking up Pirlo, who was the side's deep line playmaker. He did a similar thing against Barcelona in the 2011 Champions League final, picking up Busquets, but he had also been used as a utility player on the flank for many seasons, specifically against Arsenal, and one that comes to mind is the 2009 Champions League final's second leg at the Emirates, when Ji-Sung Park was playing as a wide midfielder on the right flank, and he would shift infield to create a narrow midfield four when Arsenal had the ball in United's half, doing his defensive work diligently throughout the game, but also providing an attacking threat, and this was his ability to run with the ball and lead United into a counter, which he did for the third goal on that night. Ronaldo plays a back heel into Park and he races forward with the ball, plays a pass to Rooney on the other side at the perfect time. If he had held onto the ball any longer, he probably would have got tackled, but playing the pass to Rooney, he releases him at the perfect time, which leads to Ronaldo's goal. But this goal all came from Ji-Sung Park's running from a deep position leading the counter-attack. Now, whilst Fred isn't as technically gifted or as athletic as Ji-Sung Park was, which enabled him to be a prominent threat in the final third, which Fred wouldn't be, I still think that Solskjaer can use the example of Ji-Sung Park to use Fred in a slightly different way. If United come up against a side like Liverpool who like to use their fullbacks, then Solskjaer could position Fred as a wide midfielder on either side, being tasked with sitting narrow, holding his position even when United have the ball in Liverpool's half, to hold a defensive position in case Liverpool are able to break down that side with the fullback of their choice. Fred sits here and he performs the same role as Ji-Sung Park did against Arsenal, creating a narrow midfield four when necessary, or pulling out wide to follow the fullback's movement down the flank. I think Fred could also be used as a wide midfielder in a 4-4-2 diamond. If he was playing at the base of that diamond, he would often get caught out because he's not press resistant and he'd get caught in the opposition's pressure when United tried to build out from the back. But playing in a wider position, he's sort of protected from this and he would provide the defensive stability that United would need. He's pretty good at getting across to players to close them down, and in this position he would have cover behind him, so it wouldn't be a massive deal if he was beaten in the one-on-one. Also, Fred is a particularly good pressing midfielder in the opposition's half, knowing when to push up and apply pressure to the opposition player, so playing this role, it could really get the best out of Fred's pressing. United don't really have this sort of utility player in the squad, so I definitely think Fred could be this man to perform certain roles against oppositions who like to use specific individual players a lot, and Fred could be used in this wide position picking up a fullback, or pushing up the field, going on to a deeper lying player, say like Rodri, to apply the pressure to him. So there's a lot of options to use Fred as a utility player, depending on the system that Solskjaer uses. In Solskjaer's 4-2-3-1, I could see Fred being used as a wide midfielder on either side against certain oppositions, and he would provide a better defensive base for United, providing essentially a three-man midfield. So this could be great when defending a lead or going into a second leg with a lead, trying to nullify the opposition's ball progression. Fred's best performances have come when he's been used in the double pivot of a 5-2-3 alongside McTominay, and if you think about the game in March 2020 against Manchester City, this was a great example of this. So of course he can still be used in this position, where he doesn't have the same obligations on the ball as he would if he played in a double pivot of the 4-2-3-1. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, and check out some of my other Manchester United analysis videos that I have recently released, such as my video on Antonio Conte at Manchester United, whether I am Ollie in or Ollie out, and how Ollie could improve his attacking setup with the same personnel. All of those videos will be linked below in the description, and put your thoughts in the comment section on what position Fred should play for Manchester United, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more content as well.